Wild Rift is not a baby version of League of Legends. It is a new and improved version of League. As a result, climbing the ladder in League of Legends Wild Rift is difficult. On the other hand, these beginner tips come from the pros, so you know they'll work. Hi, this is Clash of Games, and for today's video, we are going to talk about 10 pro guides for League of Legends Wild Rift. But before we go straight into that, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications to be notified every upload. Riot Games' League of Legends Wild Rift has dominated the mobile MOBA scene. When you jump right in, there's only one thing to do: climb the ladder. Knowing how to play the game like a pro will help you ascend to the top and avoid falling and remaining in bronze. Although League of Legends Wild Rift is similar to Riot Games' PC version, League of Legends, there are some key skills that everyone should be familiar with. Simply running down the lane recklessly will keep you at the bottom of the ranked list. Pro players employ a variety of strategies that every beginner should be aware of. The first tip is to familiarize yourself with the map. League of Legends Wild Rift by Riot Games brings the internationally successful MOBA to mobile audiences. Summoners, both new and experienced, should become very familiar with the map's top, bottom, middle, and jungle areas. In addition, the over 61 champions in Wild Rift have unique mechanics on Summoner's Rift, so make sure you understand how your chosen champion works on the map. For example, Lee Sin can dash through walls by activating his Sonic Wave ability on a jungle minion twice. This allows anyone to quickly initiate or escape in a sticky situation. Also, become acquainted with the jungle camps and potential bottlenecks depicted on the map. Finally, on the map, avoid gank-heavy choke points. The next step is to ensure that you are the last to hit every minion. Beginners to the MOBA genre may be unaccustomed to managing a small gold economy for their character in every game. Making sure you're producing gold by last hitting minions is the best way for new summoners to amass in-game gold. A minion's last hit will reward you with gold, so timing your character's auto-attack animation or skills will help you farm gold. Pro players usually avoid auto-attacking minions until they have a little HP as possible. Then, a well-placed auto or skill will undoubtedly suffice. You should also become acquainted with your champion statistics. League of Legends, LOL, each Wild Rift champion has a unique scalable attribute that they rely on for damage. Knowing whether your character uses ability power or attack damage will help you decide what items to buy as the game progresses. For example, the ranged champion Ashe benefits primarily from attack damage items. In that case, a nice Infinity Edge or Bloodthirster, both of which grant your champion attack damage boosts, will pair well with Ashe's long-ranged attacks. On the other hand, maybe your champion relies on HP stacking. Just have fun playing as many games as you want. The adage holds, practice makes perfect, so playing League of Legends games over and over will help any player improve. Were you ganked in mid lane due to poor ward placement? Or perhaps you were defeated in a top lane 2 versus 1? Repetition is the only way to learn from your mistakes. Pro players are notorious for playing League of Legends Wild Rift for many hours a day. Although this may not be ideal for those with a job or school, replaying and improving your game is still important. Another suggestion is to try the middle lane or the jungle. The middle lane and jungle roles are commonly regarded as the most important carry and table-turning roles. If one of these players accumulates gold by racking up kills, his or her team has a good chance of winning the game. The mid can walk down the river to the top and bottom lanes for potential ganks, while the jungle has enough roaming potential to pounce on all other lanes as well. Playing these characters not only allows you to learn a new mechanic, but also allows you to become more familiar with the map and game pacing, allowing you to plan future ganks. Hey there, bud! Before we go ahead and continue with our tips, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and please feel free to share your tip in the comments section down below. We love to hear from you. Returning to the tips, make sure to research optimal item builds. If your opposing Jhin is annihilating you, you might want to consider stacking some extra armor. New players will find themselves in situations like this, where their items will change slightly as the game progresses. Knowing when to mix up your item build to help facilitate how the game is going, whether it's by building more magic resist or increasing your attack damage, you should always be prepared to change your item build depending on how the enemy team is scaling. The next step is to get a grip on a handful of champions. Experimentation is fine, but climbing the ladder necessitates that you be comfortable in your lane and a champion. When you enter ranked mode, make sure you choose a lane where you have the most experience. Choose a champion with whom you can wreck, whether it's marching up a top lane with Garen or trailblazing through jungle camps with Lee Sin. Knowing your champion well also entails being familiar with each of their abilities. Knowing when skills are off cooldown, their hitboxes, or other limitations can help you win lane. It would be fantastic if you could become more aware of your surroundings. Survival in League of Legends Wild Rift is dependent on awareness. Knowing and sometimes predicting where your opponents are lurking on the map contributes to having good awareness in your game. For example, if you're pushing in the middle lane with no lane opponent in sight, you should reconsider your placement. Who knows, maybe a gank is on the way. Perhaps the opposing jungle is tiptoeing through the bushes, poised to pounce. Warding correctly also improves your map awareness because you gain additional vision. The following step is to always communicate with your team. Communicating with your teammates is one of the most effective ways to ensure victory in any League of Legends Wild Rift game. In-game pings can be found in the top right corner of the screen, so use them as needed. For example, if your lane opponent is absent, use the exclamation point ping to notify them. This alerts the rest of your team to a possible gank. Communication is also important when starting team fights. For example, telling your team which enemy to target first in team fights can help you gain an advantage by organizing your priority targets. Finally, manage your objective turrets. Baron, Dragon. Because League of Legends Wild Rift uses the same in-game objects as Summoner's Rift, timing your objectives throughout each game will help your team inch closer to victory. Like a jungle, you must be aware of jungle camp timers. Following your first jungle clear, keeping track of your jungle timers will assist you in navigating your next clear as well as prioritizing ganks in the lane. In lanes, the same level of objective awareness is required. Knowing when to engage in combat in and out of turrets, knowing when to walk up the river from the bottom lane in an attempt to assist on a dragon kill, staying on top of in-game objectives propels you to victory. Wild Rift, a League of Legends-based mobile game, has an ever-expanding roster of champions that can easily overwhelm beginners trying to learn the game. MOBAs are difficult to understand. Players must understand macro and micro decision-making and champion mechanics for all of the game's characters. When first starting, it's important to play those champions because they will help the player understand the game and understand the significance of objectives, drakes, barons, and itemization. Here are some champions in the game that are simple to master. When it comes to the top lane of Wild Rift, Darius and Garen are two of the easiest champions to master. Darius prefers Noxian over Garen because the Noxian is far more versatile than his Damascian counterpart. He can carry the ball while also being the beefiest on the front lines for backline carries. As a result, Darius deals with a lot of damage both inside and outside of the laning phase. As a juggernaut, his kit has a lot of sustain, and when he gets an early lead, Darius can snowball the entire game. However, due to a lack of gap-closing tools and a short auto-attack range, he is easily countered by Wild Rift champions such as Teemo, Akali, and Olaf. Teemo is his worst nightmare because Yordle's blind ability prevents his basic attacks from landing, limiting his hemorrhage passive buildup. Annie has remained the entry-level staple champion for newer players to pick up and learn in Wild Rift and League of Legends. Wild Rift champions like Ziggs, Lux, and Ahri can effectively shut her down and poke her out in the laning phase, forcing her to play more defensively. However, the Flash Bear combo can decimate the enemy backline even before the team fight begins. Playing and mastering an ADC in League of Legends or Wild Rift is not easy. Aside from the champion's mechanics, players must keep an eye out for things like positioning to avoid instantly bursting. Ashe's kit is relatively simple to learn. Because she has good range, it's easy to position her in and around team fights. The auto attack and volley slow make it easier for her to kite and pin down fleeing enemies. Her enchanted crystal arrow is one of the best long-range engagement tools in the game, and when used correctly, it can very effectively turn the tides of battle. And that's it for today's video. If you want more content like this, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications to be notified of every upload. This is Clash of Games, and we will see you in our next video.